This is the build I consider to be the most consistent and the strongest one in endgame at the moment. It consists of the Whirlwind, the Battle Robe, and any soul crossbow or soul bow. The Whirlwind, the melee slot, it's what deals all the damage. I run the Whirlwind because it's the strongest melee weapon. It's better than the Cursed Axe because Cursed Axe has the defeated mobs explode, and the explosions have knockback, and knockback is really bad because it makes it slower to kill all the mobs. The Whirlwind has Shockwave instead. It really doesn't matter, so you could run a normal double axe if you don't have a perfect Whirlwind. The enchantments that are good are Committed, Critical Hit, Swirling, and Sharpness. The options I recommend is a Committed, Critical Hit, Swirling, or Sharpness, Critical Hit, Swirling. Sharpness, Critical Hit, Swirling is slightly better for mobs, but the Committed one is slightly better for bosses, so it's just up to preference which one you like more. Other things that work are Sharpness, Sharpness, Swirling, Sharpness, Sharpness, Committed, and Sharpness, Sharpness, Critical Hit, and Sharpness, 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 but I sadly don't have any of those yet, but I'm still looking for it. The armor, I use the Battle Robe, but it's pretty much the same if you use the Battle Robe, the Evocation Robe, or the Mastery Armor if it has cooldown. The things you need or want are cooldown, cowardice, and deflect. The other option is double cooldown and cowardice, but I like deflect more because all the damage you take comes from ranged attacks, and deflect makes so you take almost no damage from ranged attacks, and it also has another use. But first, cooldown. I ran only one because I really wanted the deflect, but I ran cooldown and I have artifact cooldown on my armor because having the artifacts always active is the most important thing. Then I have cowardice, which adds just more damage. The other option, double cooldown cowardice, works, but you have to remember that you take way more damage from ranged attacks. And the Evocation Robe, deflect, cowardice, cooldown works just the same, except you have slightly more movement speed, but do slightly less damage. Then, if you want to speedrun a level, you just switch to a Evocation Robe with double cooldown speed synergy, or an Battle Robe with double cooldown speed synergy. Then the bow, I use the Soul Crossbow with Anima Conduit. It's the most important thing here. It's what keeps me alive and keeps the cowardice active. Every time I kill a mob, I get 1 soul. It's a bit slow to get to you, so the healing is not instant, but they keep you alive. The other slots I have is Dynamo and Tempo Theft. Tempo Theft is here just if I want to speedrun, but the main thing, Dynamo, it is a really good combo with the Deflect enchantment, because you can start the mission by getting yourself to about 20 stacks of Dynamo, and then every arrow that gets deflected gets the damage bonus of Dynamo, and the Dynamo stacks don't go away, you still keep them. So every time a skeleton or villager shoots you, they take the damage from their own arrow plus the Dynamo damage, so they one-shot themselves. And then if you have Dynamo and want to stack it a few times, you could also just shoot the boss at the end of the missions. for a bit of extra damage, but that's not necessary since the Whirlwind is good enough to kill most bosses. And for when you encounter the bosses, you want to switch in the Gong of Weakening. It really doesn't matter which one, Boots of Swiftness or Ghost Cloak, you switch out, but I like to keep the Ghost Cloak in case the boss would be able to attack me, so I just pop the Ghost Cloak and get the increased defense. The thing that really makes the build the most efficient is the really high damage output combined with the good enough movement speed so that you move fast enough from one mob to the other and don't spend any extra time waiting for them to walk to you or walking to them. It's all about saving time everywhere you can save, so you want to kill things as fast as possible and get to them as fast as possible. That's where things like temple theft, although you don't use it as often because you want to stack the dynamo, but you can use it to be slightly faster, or just stack the dynamo to kill the or have the ranged mobs kill themselves. It's up to preference, and I switch between them depending on what mission I run.